Hey, I'm working on a sheet metal stainless steel pan here, and I'm working on this side, attaching this removable side to it. And it uses bolts here on the back flange. There's some on the front and some on the rear. And I need to drill a series of holes down through here where I can rivet this in place. And so I'm going to use these Cleco rivets to do that. These are special tools for temporary fixing in place of panels and things like that. It has a special a wrench here that actuates it. The wrench works with all different sizes. These happen to be the 1/8 inch to .125 size rivet. And so you would drill a hole that's 1/8 and put the Cleco rivet in and then release it. It's spring loaded and it has a flared end on it here that would catch and act like a rivet. It's not very strong, but it's strong enough to maintain alignment. While you're drilling a series of holes, you'd start on one end and work to the other and pop in the Cleco rivets, and that would ensure that every hole is in alignment. So I'm going to use nuts and wing nuts and bolts here just to temporarily hold the back in place. And I'll use a C-clamp up on the front until I get it started, just to make sure that I get it going straight. So I've got a bag of the Cleco. They come in different sizes. The 1/8 is fine for this project here. So let's see, I'm gonna flip this over. I want to drill it from this side because I want to scribe a line down it. But before I do that, I'm going to use this little C-clamp here to hold this temporarily in alignment. And it's not real critical. I can feel the edge, and I'm just getting it even all across. So I'm going to use a micrometer here, and I've got a 1-inch flange here. So I'm going to set my calipers to 1/2 inch or thereabouts, doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to scribe a line with a sharp edge here. So now I've got an edge that I can see. You might not be able to see it, but I can see it. So I can come through here and start drilling these holes. I'm going to do one about every 5 inches or so. So I'm drilling 2 pieces of metal, and I know what I'm going to have to do, go back and deburr these holes before I finish, but I'm just going ahead right now and drilling the holes, and then when I take it apart, I'll deburr it, and that means I'll be able to get a tighter fit. And this is a pretty tight, I'm going to go to a slightly larger bit. That was a 125, I'm going to step up to a 128. To make my life easier. And hopefully the Cleco will go into that hole. Yeah, there it went. So I've got one Cleco installed, and then I'll just come up here, I'm just eyeballing it about right in there, and I can see my scribed line. Grab another Cleco. These are pretty handy. I don't know. I guess you could use nuts and bolts to do the same thing. Probably wouldn't be quite as accurate as these. These are very tight, going in the hole. Really super sweet. I think they were invented for use in the aircraft industry. But, I think they've race car fabricators and motorcycle fabricators. Of course, they probably at one time worked on aircraft, you know, in the war or whatever. So they are familiar with these tools, and once you know about these and use them, you'll begin to see how useful they are. And so you can use them over and over. I've never worn them out. So they're just awesome to have around. I've got maybe one more hole to drill here. And the last Cleco. So there you have it. I've got the panel fabricated. It's mocked up into place using the Clecos. And what I'll do next is take all of these back off and then deburr all the holes underneath. I'll show you what I mean. Take these back now. They've actually done their purpose. I can put them back in the drawer. And then, so later when I go back with the actual pop rivets, I can know with confidence that all these holes are perfectly aligned. And it will just drop right back into place. And in the back I'm going to use, these are 1/4 inch bolts. I'm going to use 1/4 inch rivets back here. So I can always drill out the rivets if I need to. I'll remove it, but I wanted to have a way to get a watertight seal on this front. So what you might be, let me see if I can show you this. This is the second layer of the steel I was drilling, and there's a burr on it. There's a raised edge right here. And what I'm going to do is go in with a larger drill bit or a deburring tool. I've got either one. And on the back side, you can see also it's raised quite a bit. And so you need to get rid of that because it's going to affect how the rivet pulls in. It'll prematurely pop the rivet and it won't be very tight. So I'll show you what I'm going to do here. So this is the deburring tool here. If you have one, it's pretty handy. You don't have to worry about it drilling through the material. But I'm just going to use a drill bit, a larger drill bit, because a lot of people don't have deburring bits, but they do have large drill bits. So it's pretty easy. You just go through here. Start on you drill opposite of how the hole was drilled. And you can easily see, do these here. It gets rid of all the burr where the bit punched through. I go through and do both sides. So it gives the hole a nice radius without that edge that sticks up. Prematurely cause the rivet to pop. So that's the inside. That's where I was mostly concerned. That's where there was a large amount of ridge. You can see, and on the back side I did the same thing. So these are ready to rivet. Let me check the, oh yeah, I need to do the back side of this too. There's definitely a burrs on the back of this. But it's pretty easy to fix it. And if you don't fix it, you won't get a good seal. I'm going to run a bead of silicone on this, and I'm counting on these rivets to pull tight. And if there's burrs on both of these holes, it's not going to pull tight. So get that done. I'm going to get some silicone, run a bead, pop in some rivets, And then I'm gonna work on the front panel here. But that's all for today on this.